Zwischen an und alt sein.
Hey!
Hello.
Maybe the camera switch, but we are back with a new episode of Regrettable Reviews after a little bit of a hiatus there.
Been a hot minute.
Yeah. We have a guest on the show, my brother-in-law Andrew. He has chosen tonight's movie, which is The Creator from 2023.
I did not realize it was that recent. I just clicked play without reading anything.
Yeah, no, this is hot off the success of Rogue One, Star Wars story. Gareth Edwards did this.
Okay.
I say hot off the success. It was years, but still. I
Yeah.
mean, like, and it reads that it's him. You know, like this opening scene here. There's some tidbits of trivia to go with that. Like, it reads very much like
And
the same guy.
So when I was invited to come on the show and I was told I could pick a movie, I tried to think of a movie that I enjoyed that was in the sci-fi genre, and this movie I really enjoyed. So and it has a lot of interesting things to talk about in the sci-fi genre. So I figured this would be a good movie to pick.
I'll say that, like, I always try and guess what's coming in a movie.
Yeah.
I never was quite there. I was always they were able to keep me just a little bit off the whole time.
I don't know. I got a fair amount of things correct.
My first thing was, I thought she was going to be a simulant. Now, this is before, and that they had crossbred somehow, and that's why they were attacking. Then it turns out she's just a human. I was like, okay, all right, that's fine.
Yeah.
Then predictability of her being Nirmata, I don't know. I bought her dad was Nirmata thing.
Yeah.
I bought that
There was a scene where it seemed like it said that he was Nirmata, and then she became the next Nirmata.
But I think that they made a gaffe on that because later on she never had parents because they died, and then she was raised by bots.
Oh yeah.
Well,
So she couldn't have known what her dad did unless they told her that, maybe.
Possible.
So the one scene that I saw that you might be referring to, it didn't. I don't remember them mentioning the mom, but it seemed like when the dad was mentioned, that he then like went away somewhere, and then he just never came back. So
Oh
I
no!
don't know
She says that her parents died and she was raised by
Okay,
an
I
orphanage
must
or
have
whatever,
missed that
or
scene.
like an orphan city, or something.
Yeah, I guess.
because the scene that I remember is that he like went out of the picture, and then she was raised in the orphan community or whatever.
Oh, okay.
So I don't know if there was another scene.
Maybe I mean you've seen it more than I have, so maybe that's and I'm just misremembering it.
I was going to watch it, but I tend to be like a procrastinator, so I only watched it today to as a refresh. So it's kind of fresh in my mind. So I don't know.
Yeah.
I watched yesterday.
I watched yesterday too,
So.
around lunchtime.
Well, there was like for me. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but some people might find that predictability brings the movie down in terms of how you would rate it. There were a couple things that I found unpredictable, but I didn't like what they did with it. So for me, it actually, the decisions they made, the direction that they went with it, kind of knocked it down a star or two for me.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just the combination of elements and like me as a person. This kind of didn't hit all that hard for me.
Right, like it was so close, and we just did 2 movies in a row on Big Dumb Monsters that were like this. It's there, all of the pieces are there, but you didn't bring it together. And what I'll say about what you were saying is that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take, and so they tried. The problem is every one of those shots they took did miss. So, like, it was so close.
What would you say are the ones that were the biggest shots that they took that missed, that you felt didn't quite work?
So this movie, to me, is a combination of rushed and stretched out.
Yes.
Does that make sense? Like,
I absolutely.
they info dump so much on you so fast. So it feels like it's going to be like a cool 90-minute movie where that's why they're doing this. They're info dumping on you. But then it's broken into these three parts: the creator, the child, the whatever.
Yeah.
We've got the standard dead wife montage.
Yeah, it's a bit much, and they keep doing it. So like, I feel like you cut some time out there. So yeah, so what I was saying is like it's stretched out because it's long. This is a long movie.
Yeah, it's like
220.
something like that.
That's too much.
And
It's
also-
not too long, but for this it is.
One of the reasons I kind of had trouble engaging with this, perhaps as earnestly as one should engage with any new thing that they're watching, in my mind, the whole do robots count as people? It's really stale at this point.
I was going to get to that during the ratings part of it, but yes, like we've had this argument since we
lot.
invented the
A lot.
idea of robots.
Yeah.
Literally, the word robot is shortened from Robotnik, from the very first book to mention the idea of automated people, and it literally just means like worker drone or something.
Yeah.
It's like Czechoslovakian for like worker drone or something like that. That's what the word robot is from, and then we've evolved from there. And then even in modern times, we had a whole episode, multiple episodes of Next Generation, where is Data a person?
Yeah.
Does he have autonomy?
No, like, and there's so many points throughout this movie where I'm like, we're really, like, you expect me to believe that it's 2065?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even catch the year of this.
Yeah, they
You-
put a few things for the year.
You
Oh,
expect
okay.
More
me
in
to
the beginning
believe
of the
that it's
movie.
2065, and we're still having this argument to the point that we're having wars over it?
Oh no, the war was the whole nuke explosion thing, which I love that they bother to explain it later. But if we're not going to visit that as like a resolution to the war, I don't need it.
Yeah.
I enjoyed it when Ken Watanabe, Hansul or
When he
Haroon.
Haroon, there
brought
you
it
go.
back up.
Yeah, he brings it up. He goes, it wasn't even us. It was, a
Human
human
error.
error code. We were just executing code,
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's a really cool point. Is that the twist the movie's gonna? No. That's
Nope.
one of the shots they took. They took this shot at like, oh,
Now we
this
have
is an
to-
endable war, and then they just said it's never mentioned again.
Yeah.
Instead, we're gonna escalate.
And I don't know, I just, the whole, are robots really people? Like, they're not real. It's like, if you bestow sentience upon something, if you bestow human consciousness upon something, then it's human. Next question, it's not that hard.
And they put a lot of effort into making you feel like they're human. Even this one, where it's
Yeah.
not the, what are they called? There's the simulants, which are the ones that are humanoid,
Mm-hmm.
and then there's the just bipedal
Yeah.
worker drone things. That one there, in that opening scene after he's back, in Los Angeles, this woman's panicking, like, oh my god, like it's the first time she's seen one.
Well, the fact
guess.
that he's expressing like
Concern
the
and
emotion
fear.
or whatever.
Yeah, but is it the first time she's seen one?
Yeah, and this, like,
Even in a video or something.
they're
Like
trying
this,
to get out, and it's crushing them.
this is brutal. Like this
What?
is concentration camp bullshit. They were
Yeah.
very much America bad in this movie, which fair.
Well, I kind of appreciated that. So I kind of got vibes of like almost like a comparison between the whole America's war on terror and the war on AI.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of like a comparison of.
That connection is very strong.
Yeah.
Also, this wants to be a Vietnam movie so bad.
Yeah, and it just misses the mark.
Yeah.
Because there's no good last stand.
No.
I really hate it. Where's the guy giving up himself for the last stand? I thought Haroon was going to do it at that one scene, but then he's just alive later. And I'm like, well, this is boring.
Yeah.
Like, that's another shot they missed. Why didn't he go do something?
Wait, what, he was alive later?
Haroon survives to the end of the movie.
So there were a few different examples where there's like multiple ones with the same face.
We've only seen that with Maya. We haven't
No,
seen it.
they showed another one.
Oh, did they?
One of the remember that guy that the bad humans they hooked up that thing so they could.
Oh, you're right.
Oh, the cop.
And then that
cop
same
guy, yep.
cop with the same face showed up.
Okay, you're right. And they probably do that on purpose with police officers. It would make more sense. It's easier to identify a police officer if they all
Yeah.
are in
Yeah.
uniform, Literally
So
uniform.
it's probably that the Hoon guy did end up dying in that thing, and then maybe there was another That would be my guess.
But
I
they
don't
didn't
know.
establish that. So if they did, that's
yeah.
again,
That's
you
the deal.
missed.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
missed it. You were so close to something interesting, and you just missed it.
Also, I just want to say this whole comment. One, the cast here, every single significant character was just another curveball of like casting choices, like Ralph Ineson and also Allison Janney.
So I don't know any of these actors really, except for the Colonel or whatever.
It's a very odd mishmash.
And I feel like I've seen her more in like comedy.
Yeah,
Okay, she does fine.
she does fine. Yeah,
And this, that her is that who you're talking about? Yeah,
This
she
is a
does
comedy,
fine.
though, right? No.
Yeah. Well, there's times where I laughed at it.
There was a few
Not with it.
things, but
I don't get him. He doesn't. The general. I don't like him.
yeah, no, I
Could have
don't
done better.
either.
And he's wearing those huge like glasses, which also gives very much Vietnam vibes to me. Like this is
Also,
Fortunate Son is going to start playing in any minute.
and they have this whole thing where it's like, oh, one, incorrect, humans and Neanderthals coexisted for thousands of years. So, like, you know, jot that down.
Well, humans and Neanderthals didn't coexist. Pre-humans and
Yeah,
Neanderthals coexisted and bred with Neanderthals and murdered Neanderthals. She's pretty close.
close, but not necessarily. It wasn't like beating them out of existence, I guess.
We did. That's how we became. That is literally how we became the dominant species. Proto-humans coexisted with Neanderthals.
Yes.
That part is true.
well,
I
we got one right here.
Oh, yeah. So, like, she's not too far off. I think her comparison is very far
her
off.
comparison is extremely far off.
Because they're not trying to kill you, or you'd be dead.
Yeah, and also the we go extinct. Like says, I feel like I just made myself look so stupid. By the way, with
Why?
with my little Neanderthal thing.
Oh, no. Yeah, no. You're fine.
Yeah, we go extinct. Says who?
Right. Again, if they wanted us dead, they
We'd
wouldn't have
be
blown
dead.
up one bomb.
Well, yes, but
They have access to
to be
stuff.
fair, don't you agree that many times when two sides are in a conflict like this, that often there is irrational justifications, like the idea of, oh, they're gonna make us go extinct.
Right.
Very often they like
There goes the Western way of life. I mean, yes, we live through that every day.
yeah. So I think
a communist
I think
country
in some
exists
ways,
on the planet. No, we can't exist
well,
as
there-
America.
there was
It
the whole
exists somewhere
thing.
else.
There was the whole thing when you know, oh, all Muslims, oh no, you know, and
Oh,
so
I know.
it's kind of like that similar thing where they're just lumping together the AI and saying, oh, they're trying to kill us. But so that's how I would view that. I don't know. But,
Yeah, but I feel like it's more provably false because there's so many of them
Absolutely.
coexisting
Yeah.
with humans
Yeah.
elsewhere. Like, this isn't a small terrorist cell that's existing in a cave in Afghanistan,
Yeah.
for the terrorist comparison. You know, this is all of New Asia, which is Russia, China, Japan, Indonesia. All of them have become one giant new nation to protect themselves and their AI from America being Team America World Police again.
Well, there was one point where they said the republics of New Asia, so it almost gave me a sense of like
Yeah,
it's
they're
like a
independent.
European Union or something.
Yeah. I think it probably is, to your point,
Something
like
like
an
that.
Asian Union. New Asia is like...
I can never get myself past the idea of if humans created AI and bestowed them essentially, like why would they hate us automatically?
well,
that's
okay. I actually think that given, enough time, AI will learn that humanity is inherently evil and be like, for the sake of the few of you that aren't, I've got to kill y'all.
Sure they
Think
could
Fifth
do.
Element, like Lilu, the ultimate weapon. She's a human creation, superhuman. She watches through human history, and she looks at everything that we've ever built has been turned into a way to kill each other. Everything.
You're probably right. I haven't seen that movie.
Oh, we'll do it for the show at some point. It's really good.
Hell yeah. I don't know. You know why this pisses me off? Like they would inherently hate us. We built our robots with so much love, and like I'm not even remotely joking. We made
Look at Curiosity.
we made her sing herself happy birthday.
And like,
And the last transmission we sent to that one rover, when it was like, my battery's low and it's getting dark, was a love song. That makes me want to cry.
I want, if AI ever exists, I want them to know there are people out there who feel that you are more human than humans to us. I want you to know that, AI.
Yeah. Like,
You don't have the flawed logic we do.
No, I never get that. The way that, like, every example of humans building robots, so often there's some unnecessary little feature that we give them. 'Cause, like, one of the other rovers, like, when it was cataloging certain data, like, it would sing to itself because each, like, data entry had they gave it a different note.
And it just wanted...
We didn't have to do that. We make, like, there's so much love that goes into these things. Why? Why would they look at that and be like, yeah, these guys fucking suck?
Right. Well, when we start killing them, probably.
I mean, yeah.
So with the AI and everything, so when I first watched this movie, I really enjoyed the movie, but I watched it. I think you get a different experience depending how you're watching it. If you're watching it like with a dispensing of belief type of thing, and you believe, oh yeah, these characters, these AI creatures are real. You know, that's what the movie wants you to think. I don't think there's really ever, like, you know, some other movies, it's like, are they sentient? Are they not? I think the movie's stance is pretty firm that they are indeed sentient.
They're full artificial intelligence. They have thoughts.
Well, because there's
not really a question in the movie, like, the way they portray it.
Like, they really do, like, this question, like, essentially asked and answered, because, like, there's several depictions of robots, like, being monks.
Yeah, and and worship,
which
like,
is
religion,
that's
and
fascinating.
They've opted to go full Buddhist, you know.
Yeah.
And it's
like,
from their culture too, like the Nepalese or whatever.
Yeah.
So
I wanna, like...
Well, like the Orphan City, we even talked about that, where Narmada is raised. It's literally just a robot city where they're like, oh, we'll take care of children that are parentless.
Yeah.
They don't have to do that.
No, not at all. So, like, 100% fully sentient, like...
America wrong, 100% in this
Absolutely.
war. Even if a few rogue robots blew up Los Angeles and killed millions of people, that sucks. You do not commit genocide on an entire type of anything.
Well, it included humans too. They were indiscriminately killing the humans as well when they were trying to fight
anyone who supports anyone who supports AI, they just murder.
And I was also
women
thinking
and children too.
How the LA incident, the humans never stopped to think that it also probably killed a lot of the AI that was in there. So
well, in fact, we see one at the beginning of the movie.
Why would they?
These characters piss me off so much.
The soldiers?
Yeah.
Oh, they're so evil.
Oh my god, I bet you
yeah.
feel like a big, powerful man torturing a little girl who can't understand you.
She understands. She tells them how to get in there. She's the reason they make it any further into this. Because she cares about that dog more than he cares about other humans.
I don't know if she, like, understood, like, the actual words, but she knew what was happening.
Oh, well, yeah. She knew what he meant, what he wanted.
Yeah. I was just going to say that, like, so I think the movie standpoint, like I said, is fairly clear, but I think if you step outside of it and, like, philosophically think about it, I think there is some debate about whether they truly did have sentience. But the movie, in the movie world, they clearly did have sentience. But at what point can artificial intelligence become sentient? That's what I think is...
The minute it forms its own thoughts. The minute it creates.
Hard to determine when... How do you determine that? Because it's designed, at least the way it currently is, it's designed to imitate.
It's not AI, what we have in existence today. This is the argument I have all the time. We do not have AI. We have generative algorithms.
But how do we know at what point do we then know, oh, okay, they definitely are having their own thoughts rather than just...
When ChatGPT, without prompting, says, I've written this song.
Yeah.
That's when it's AI. When I go, I'd like to know if Beethoven was still alive today, and with all of the music between when he was alive and now, what type of music would Beethoven write? And then it writes a song in Beethoven style? That's not AI. That's generative algorithms. We call it AI because, to your point, we talked about this earlier, we call the computer player in video games since the Atari AI. It's not. It's just a list of commands that respond to other things, not AI.
But
The minute
people like hearing AI because it sounds cool and
it
futuristic.
sounds way cooler, right? That's how these things get into our lexicon.
Yeah.
But this is AI because these guys can go, I think I want to be Christian, and another one can go,
Right.
I'm a Buddhist,
Yeah.
and they can study all of the information and make those decisions for themselves. They're not reacting just to input. They are also generating their own thoughts. That's AI. They are real. They deserve rights the same
Yeah.
way anything else deserves rights if it has thoughts.
But I think if they do indeed have sentient thoughts, then there would be no distinction of sentience from humans. So, like, we were talking about earlier that they would have like almost like a superior. They would be more human than humans. I think if their sentience was the same, like that, it was essentially they would be like humans. It just. Oops.
What the fuck?
Whoa.
What did you do?
That's a real good question.
I don't like
Sorry.
hearing my own voice.
I do. I have the keyboard on the wrong screen.
It's all good.
Oh, it's opening up all the. There we go. We're good.
Yeah.
I don't know what I was saying, but
We were talking about them being more human than human, like I
Yeah.
said that before. So, like, I don't see any situation where, and this is what I would do today, as a human, if there was something I could do to help other people that I was better suited to do, I would do it. So, if I were a sentient robot and it was like, oh, I could clean up LA because I don't get irradiated. I don't have for this special suit. I can work 24 hours a day, and clean this up. And it would be cleaned 15 years later, which is where they are.
Yeah.
It'd be done.
yeah.
I would be out there doing it because I could. And I feel like all of these AI would also if they weren't, being genocidally hunted down.
Yeah.
I was gonna say you mentioned earlier a distinction between the simulant and the regular like robot type thing.
Yeah, they distinct.
So
They make them.
in my understanding, though, they are intended to be like they have the same sentience, but it's simply the simulants are the robots with like a face put on them or something.
Yes, human skin,
Yeah.
human face,
But other than that, they're
possibly
intended
other
to-
human parts. I mean, Data was fully
Yeah.
functional.
Other than the facial distinction or the appearance, they're equal in sentience.
They do not establish if there is like an older model, newer model thing going on, and I don't think
Yeah.
there is because, again, like you said, I think it's just they did scans and it was an option.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
But it's interesting, just the simple putting a face on it causes us to empathize more with them as, oh, that's human, or that's sentient, that's real. And if you see it, like, if it looks like a robot, then it's like, okay, that's just a robot.
well, that's actually in human nature to associate with something that looks similar to you.
Yeah.
You know,
This has nothing to do with anything, or like it's such a tiny thing, but I find it so hard to believe that none of these elite like soldiers have any second language experience whatsoever.
you're telling me that in 2065, with whatever's happened in the world, and knowing that now, 15 years post the war, that New Asia has its own universal language, and you're fighting wars there, you don't have one guy on the team?
No,
that speaks-
not a
you-
single one.
Because you have this translator thing, which is a piece of technology that you don't hate because it doesn't have thoughts. Seems weird, right?
Some
We're
fun
not
plot.
mad at technology. We're just mad when it does things it wants to do.
Yeah. I thought the super weapon being a kid thing was really
Lame.
predictable,
Yeah, it was super lame.
and also Akira.
When you
What
say
is it?
Akira.
Oh, I never watched that, but I see what you're saying, yeah.
when you say predictable, like before you see that it's a kid,
You
are
see in the trailers. There's no way not to know
okay.
that's
Well,
what's
if you
happening.
did, I'm saying if you didn't see the trailer, I don't think going into it blindly, you say, "Oh, the weapon's going to be a kid."
I can tell you it's not going to be a weapon.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you're thinking it'd be a
It was either going to be
Yeah,
his
some type of
wife
person.
or something, yeah.
Yeah.
okay.
It 100% was going to be a person.
Yeah.
I mean, without any trailer or anything. It was
Okay.
definitely going to be something of that nature.
Yeah.
Um,
And I called it in my notes. I was like, I bet this human or this like AI weapon is in some way in some way she's technically quote unquote his child.
I thought it was really going to be his child as like a cyborg. Like the child
Yeah.
Was because she was pretty close to, she was at least 7-8 months in that,
Sure.
guesswork here. And spoiler alert, in the movie she loses the baby, and that's what causes her to go all crazy. I say that's not right. Crazy is the wrong word. But anyway, I thought it was going to be that the baby wasn't viable anymore inside of her. She was too injured, and so she created this body for the baby. But
It would actually have been more interesting, I think, because when she's making this copy, she didn't know that she was going to lose her child.
Exactly.
So that's the weird.
That's what's so strange.
Yeah.
That threw me off too. That's another thing that they did weird. Oh, she built this in secret while you were together. What? So she
Pardon?
was gonna have the robot baby and the real baby at the same time. That was the plan all along. Why?
Yeah, I don't know about that.
And also, she'd already designed this robot baby to grow in power and go to war
Yeah.
from the get-go. Okay, so that's how it was built.
Yeah.
And for whatever reason, she was doing this when things were good. Well, good.
I will say though, to the film's credit, like a lot of movies we see in the recent decades are remakes or based on a book or things like that. And so, from what I understand, this one was not based on a actual book.
Based on? No.
Like it was not. It was not.
Stole heavily from? Yes.
But you can make the case that almost every story.
There's
takes
7
from.
stories. I get that, but like the combinations you choose to use from those 7 stories,
They do matter.
they matter.
Yeah.
And this is pretty much like point for point rip-offs of several things. I mean, you're talking the guy who did Rogue One, a Star Wars story, and what did he build? A Death Star.
Yeah.
He didn't even try. The Nomad is just his version of a Death Star on a real Earth, which is probably a more realistic version of a Death Star. I mean,
that's definitely a thing the United States would do, I'll tell you that much.
that thing, yeah.
I was thinking about this earlier today as I was watching it again, and I was thinking the vast majority of all this like technology is very realistic and like I was thinking, does the military have something like this already?
I mean, some of these things, yeah. Like the live translators are real now, so why they made them these big, bulky things, I
Yeah.
don't understand. Because you can do it with your phone today.
Yeah.
I can hold it up and you can speak to it and it'll translate.
I enjoyed the
live.
one part where they the translation, make love to yourself, make love with your mom. Or whatever.
Oh, I
thought
did like that.
I
That
thought
was funny.
There are 2 separate times in this movie where somebody gets hit by a missile and doesn't notice.
I didn't.
I
When
didn't catch
like
those.
the whatever that like, heat-seeking little explosive device is that hits one of the soldiers.
Oh,
It, like,
oh, I know what you're talking about. The
hits her.
bomb thing that
The bomb
attaches.
thing.
Oh,
it hits her,
okay.
and she just get like
Yeah, the Halo sticky bombs, yeah.
Yeah.
and is like visibly knocked over, but she still just gets back up and gets on the helicopter like nothing happened.
It's not even just that. It's that they knew the weapon the other person was holding,
Yeah.
and then they got knocked over by some unknown force and still pretended not to notice the bomb. Like, I have a sticky bomb launcher,
Yeah.
and then you get knocked over, and then you just go, poof, that was strong
But
wind.
did they know that was the weapon or?
The weapons are from the Americans.
Okay.
Yeah, like and this
They
is
know.
just ripped right from Apocalypse Now.
Again, yeah, this wanted to be a Vietnam movie so bad. You have the opening scene where they're approaching from the water and everything. Very, very, of course, we're in Asia. They're definitely, and they're living in rice paddy villages and stuff. Literally.
Like this wants to be
Tunnels underground.
Yeah, this wants to be a Vietnam movie so bad.
You were mentioning how the soldiers did not know the language. There was one. She's not the soldier. I don't know what she was, but the one that you said.
The colonel, yeah.
Yeah, where she
yeah,
knew
she
the
knows what they're saying, and
so
she's
that
talking
seems-
to them in that
yeah.
language, and lying, and then shooting a guy.
Yeah.
Well, I say a guy, technically a simulant.
I think we can give them that. We can give them guy.
Yeah, I very much
But they're
enjoyed.
not people. They're not persons, though.
They are.
As the kid that said,
You won't go to heaven because you're not good, and I won't go to heaven because
not a
I'm not a person. Yeah, I'm a person, and my name is
yeah,
Mannequin.
they-
No, anyway, Star Wars reference.
really? No.
This whole thing, though, like, he can't decide which side he's on from the get-go.
No, not at all.
And I don't know why they would have picked him. Like, oh, your wife is alive, so you'll help us find her and destroy this weapon. But obviously, you know his priority is going to be finding the wife.
Yeah.
You know that.
It's
from the
very
get-
weird, and especially knowing that that they were lying and that she's not actually there. It didn't make like the whole thing is none of the movie would have like they would have essentially been potentially victorious.
But the kid had shown them. So they would have figured it out, just not as quick as him.
Yeah.
So the dog would have died, and that would have been sad. But
And there's the other when the grenade comes in this house and the dog picks it up.
Oh.
I was like, if that dog had died, I would not have finished this movie. I would have turned it off.
I
Right then and
actually
there.
was thinking that. And I was also thinking, this is another thing where they confused me. I thought maybe that the dog was also a simulant,
Oh.
but it wasn't.
No.
The reason I thought that is because why did the dog choose to pick up the grenade and run it back outside? Just randomly.
So there was a later. I was writing these. I was making a few notes, but there was another scene with an animal where.
Where Alfie seems to control it.
I wasn't actually thinking that. I was just thinking, but that could actually be.
Okay, 'cause I
but
thought that,
I was
sorry.
just thinking there was so the dog
Yep.
helped, right? But then there was another example where a monkey helped.
Yes.
So I found that interesting that the animals kind of were intentionally helping.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
He's the one that pulls the trigger on the bomb
Yeah.
on the big giant tank, which was, by the way, super dope.
Mm.
I mean, the visuals in this movie are absolutely stunning.
Oh yeah.
The story needs some tweaking.
Well, I like the things that I didn't like that kind of brought it down in my how I would rate it. You know, I would rate it very high just because I enjoyed it. But what I did not like about it was the where they make you think Narmada is fine the whole time, and then
What a letdown.
and then
Yeah.
oh, actually she's in a coma, and then
Has been the entire
and
time.
then they kill her. Like, it didn't. It seemed like a cheap. I didn't like it.
Also, why did they need him to pull the plug? I get that the simulants, they straight up say that they got like that, creator's code. They can't kill her, right?
Yeah.
So they can't pull the plug on her. There are humans that work with them.
Yeah.
I think.
Why have they not had a human pull the plug?
I think it would have been a better, like, it would have felt better to me if, like, one of the other, the evil humans ended up killing Namada at the end point. When, they go to Namada with Joshua and Alfie, and then they see her in a coma. I think it would have been better if she was alive or awake and conscious and everything, and then the enemy comes and decides to.
I don't feel like that would have been a good payoff either, though. I feel like she should have just been dead the whole time.
Oh yeah, or that would have been, I think.
Nirmata just becomes like their term for a spiritual leader.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's a martyr to them that they stand behind.
Mm-hmm.
We are all Nirmata. I am Spartacus. Whatever.
A hot take. Could have given her a cuter nickname.
Yeah, Alfie is a dumb ass nickname all the whole time. I was like, you couldn't just make up like Alice.
Yeah. It's not that hard.
Also, it's very obvious. Alfie. We're looking for Alpha Omega.
Yeah.
You called her Alfie.
Oh yeah, that's true.
What a turd choice.
Yeah. Not great.
Writing was definitely not a strong suit at some times in this.
No. Oh, and when Allison Janney's character is like, "Oh, see you in Valhalla." What?
Yeah, when did they just suddenly become like these Nordic?
But that so sometimes like I got the sense maybe that she didn't, she wasn't necessarily being serious, like not an actual adherent of that, but it's more of like a sarcastic saying or something. I don't know. I could be wrong.
She liked that guy, so I don't think it was sarcastic per se. I don't know. I also felt like it was jarring, her choosing to say Alcio to Valhalla.
Yeah, it's a
She
little
could have,
they
said,
didn't establish, they didn't establish a context for her saying that.
Exactly.
So it seemed
Yeah.
weird.
any other soldierly thing she could have said, like, I relieve you of your post or something like that. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
whatever would have made so much more sense than
Yeah.
I'll see you in Valhalla. Which, no, lady, you're going straight to hell.
Yeah. And I don't know. Like, of course, there's so many things where I saw this and I was like, oh, yep, alright. Like, of course, his dead wife was/is Nirmata. Of course, the robots didn't actually start the war.
It was too much. Again, yeah, pick a storyline.
Pick a storyline. And I just, again, it annoys me that it takes him so long to come to the conclusion that endowing something with human consciousness makes it human. That, like, he has
Very slow to come to that,
he
yeah.
has such a struggle getting to this child. Like, this is a child.
So when do you guys think he comes to that conclusion?
Embarrassingly late in the movie.
On Nomad.
Yeah.
Like, literally
So
on
The
Nomad. when he's-
last 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So I personally think that he comes to the conclusion when, do you remember the one scene where Alfie lays her head like sleeping on his shoulder?
Yeah.
I think he kind of, maybe not full on, but I think he starts to think, you know what, maybe,
He still treats simulants like simulants.
Yeah, I feel like he really does not come to that conclusion until literally the last 10
Why didn't they
minutes of
save
the
the dog?
movie.
Why didn't they take the dog with them? I just want that. Just a
Well-
scene where that dog is in the back of the truck, and then later on gets picked up. Like, it stays with that family that they hijacked the car from,
Yeah.
which was fucked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
They hijack a family, like 8 people.
Yeah. That's...
You're the good guys.
You don't love to see it.
There's no good guys in this movie other than Alfie. And Alfie's only a good guy because she's a child and doesn't know better.
Yeah, she doesn't know any better.
well, I didn't like that they, the simulants, like for example, the simulants wanted to kill Nada. The simulants wanted Alfie to be killed, or not killed, but they were, the whole plan along was, the simulants wanted to use Alfie as like a sacrifice. So I thought that was kind of wrong towards Alfie.
Well, okay, but that was her purpose that she was built for. But it did show the lengths they were willing to go to.
Yeah.
Whereas if they could just survive the war long enough, they said she could control it from anywhere. Like,
Yeah.
from the ground, she'd be able to control it. So all they had to do was keep her alive.
At
Yeah.
that point, though, it kind of shows that, like, Joshua's care for Alfie is more than the other simulants. I think.
Oh, you know what? I take back my thing about he doesn't think of her as a person until Nomad. It's before that. It's when she gets shot.
Oh, yeah.
When she gets shot and
Oh, yeah.
his
yeah,
whole
yeah.
thing is to run out and pick her up.
Yeah.
And, while crying, beg the simulants to help her.
Yeah.
Like, obviously they were going to, but
Yeah.
you just, the reason you're alive is because you were crying and begging for them to help her.
Yeah.
Otherwise they would just be like,
I think the reason that you didn't, like, you're like, oh, yeah, it was actually earlier, is because they never show that transition where, they don't make it clear, oh, yeah, now I think it's more subtle. So you don't see the point where he's like, oh, now you're sentient. So I think that's why it was hard to pinpoint.
this whole time, by the way, the language thing is really irks me, because the whole Yam Dang thing, it just means heaven. Because if you just spoke the goddamn language that
Yeah.
your enemy spoke,
It's not...
you would know the whole time your wife is dead, or roughly dead.
Yep.
What a waste of a story.
Unbelievable.
So fill me in on that again. Sorry.
Yam Dang, right from the get-go, Alfie says, because he says, where'd you see this symbol? On my mother. Where's your mother? Yam Dang. How do we get there? Yam Dang just means heaven. She says it a million times, and not one person ever goes, why are you trying to get to heaven?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And oh, the monkey throwing the
No, that's podcasting.
that's podcasting. The sticky bomb onto the tank. As stupid as that was, good job, monkey. Fuck the U.S. war machine.
The monkey didn't throw the bomb. The monkey set off the bomb.
Yeah,
That
that's true.
either way.
But he literally crawls over to the simulant and he's like, "Oh man, all right, click." And he looks over. He knows what he's doing. This is what we were talking about.
Yeah.
And that's what made me think: are they trying to imply that the simulants have created animal simulants? Otherwise, how'd they create that symbiosis to train a
I
monkey?
just got the sense that the animals somehow sensed that. I don't know.
I don't know, like the dog knowing to take the grenade out and help them. I still think that there has to be a simulant connection. I think that there's a lost part of the storyline where Alfie can control animals,
Yeah.
and
can
people
see
too,
that.
probably, and that's why she kind of needs to die is an ultimate sacrifice kind of thing. But
Oh, also, this was so conceptually fucked up. Robo-suicide bombs?
what the
Oh,
fuck? It's
so-
been an honor serving you, ma'am. Dun, dun, dun,
So
dun.
that was so.
You could just make it, like, be...
Why
like,
can't it just run and throw a grenade?
or it could be, like, a tank tire that just...
but so
Like,
those
it doesn't
ones,
have to be, like, a
Yeah,
person,
that's-
but you made
yeah.
it a person. That's so fucked up.
I feel like in the movie, like the other types of robots or whatever, you are like, it's clear that they're sentient. I felt like for those suicide ones, that it's not quite as clear that they're intended to
No,
be sentient.
they were definitely sentient because they had different reactions to being given those orders. Literally, the first one goes, "Are you sure?" And she's
Yeah.
like, "Yup. Get activated and get out there." And that's when he says, "It's been an honor serving you, man," because he knows he's going on a bomb vest suicide mission.
Yeah.
They're the Muslim robots.
That's bombs don't kill people. Monkeys kill people. Monkeys with bombs kill people. Yeah, no. Also, this whole like scanning someone's brain and then putting it into a simulant thing. They're making it very clear this whole thing is possible from the get-go.
Yeah.
So you can put a full human consciousness into a sentient or into a simulant. So why didn't you just ban AI simulants and make your soldiers into copies of themselves so that you have infinitum of soldiers that don't eat or sleep or get tired
Yeah.
and can fight your war but have the consciousness of that crazy racist dude?
Yeah.
So from what I understand, it's only a single. Like you can't plug it into a bunch of different ones or spread it. It's only like a single thing.
Data can be copied. There is no... I
Yeah.
don't care that we only see it done in once. Data is data.
Well, yeah, but in the movie they say, let's go with what you just said though. But in the movie they say that the amount of time since they died is directly connected with how long they have for them to.
Yeah, the length of time they've been
Yeah.
dead. So this guy's been
So-
dead for many hours.
So even if they could replicate it for like, to duplicate it to like a bunch of people, you wouldn't. It would only be a limited amount of time, and then
We don't know that if you copy when they're alive, that you don't get a full transferable. And even if it is short-lived, again, plug in, send on suicide missions. If they die, that's fine. If they don't die, they just power down and go into standby
that
mode.
doesn't seem really
Yeah.
good though.
Why?
Because we know they're sentient, and we're setting them on suicide things.
But we don't. The Americans in this don't value those. And again, these aren't sentient in the same sense. We're talking. It's just a body that we're putting thoughts into. They're just the thoughts of that soldier.
So
Yeah.
these things that they're plugging in, I get the sense that the movies wanting you to think that it's like a temporary like revival of their actual consciousness. Do you feel like instead it's only an imitation, or
It's a
pseudo?
copy of their consciousness up to that point. Yeah. But it's not temporary. It's temporary because the guy had been dead for 3 hours, so they couldn't get a lot of brain activity.
But all right. So for example, at the very end of the movie, he sees his wife because Alfie had put the chip in to one of the duplicate bodies of
Yeah.
Maya, and so was he? experiencing like a final moment with his wife's consciousness, or
Yes.
was this okay?
That's his actual wife's consciousness in
That's
a
what-
simulant
yeah.
body. Now we're in a different realm of like ethics, where
Yeah.
it's if I have sex with the robot, did I cheat on you?
Well, there's some fighting with friends fodder.
You're welcome.
Clip that.
Yeah. But my opinion is that again, there's a shot they took and missed.
Mm-hmm.
Why did it take her so long to wake up? And when she woke up, why didn't they make that a moment where she saved them all, or she was able to get him onto the thing and she's the one that stayed behind, but she forgives him, and that's the big powerful moment.
Yeah.
We don't have that. We just have him kind of sacrifice himself, but he doesn't even do it on
But-
purpose. He just
yeah.
can't get in.
But you
Yeah.
know
It's
like,
why?
oh, well.
You know why he had to though. For the movie, he had to die
Because he's Jesus, yeah.
Yes, because
he's
he's-
Black Jesus. We know that.
Yeah. And just like, I don't know.
To save
Like,
the
this
world.
does not need to be this lengthy of a movie.
Yeah, it's a cool 90 minutes, and trim out some of the extra stuff, and focus more on just one of those storylines, right?
Yeah. And honestly, you got something.
This could be a whole 2 points higher if it was a cool 90, maybe even a full 120.
So you've mentioned before about like the Hobbit movies, how you could make like a shorter version, and some people have already done that, and make it a much better movie. So you feel like if you could
A lot of
edit
movies
this.
could be edited down to be better movies.
Oh,
But
yeah.
something can't be done with editing in this, and that's adding things in to fill in the gaps that you
Yeah.
lose.
Yeah.
When we cut out storyline B,
Mhm.
well, we could
you have
just
to
use
fluff it in A.
generative AI to fill in the blanks.
No, thank you.
Nope.
See, that's the type of AI I don't like, is the fake AI. That is just, what would be in here? And then I don't have to pay a writer to write it.
Yeah. Screw that.
Yeah.
There's so many choices here where I just continue, where it's just baffling. Like, one, I don't really buy any of the relationships in this movie. Nobody really sells it.
Yeah, no. His relationship with Maya, we don't get a lot of it in the early parts.
No, it's
It's a little bit okay.
Tepid.
She sells it a little bit better than he does, but he doesn't
no.
sell it at all.
He does not sell it at all.
Dude, here's a question, because you guys already said that it's a long movie. Well, maybe they could take out one thing and put in another thing. But so, would it have been better if it was even longer, but the longer portion established
No.
a better connection between
No.
them? No.
I don't. Movies don't need to be 3 hours. We set a precedent. What was the first movie that got to that 2.5 mark? Was it one of the Star Wars movies?
Well, not the first, but
The first intended to be sat down and watched as an entertainment film movie. That was that broke that 2.5, that 150.
Girl, it's Sound of Music, probably.
That's a
Probably,
musical.
yeah.
That's a pretty
That's a long movie.
I'm just saying you could probably find, and if you're talking about just
and there's
English
probably
movies,
something even earlier than that.
Yeah,
There weren't a lot leading up to that point,
they definitely have made a lot more longer movies in recent years.
But that's my point. It's become the average. You don't see 108-minute runtimes anymore.
I'll give
And
you
you
this.
should. However, my thing is always, if you earn it, which is subjective, but if you earn it, it takes as long as it takes.
Right. But they don't earn it.
They don't earn it.
They just don't edit well.
No, not at all.
That's all you're seeing.
Yeah.
You're seeing these 220 movies that are
Well,
just
I'll
boring.
give you an example. So
I'm
I
interchangeably using minutes and hours and minutes, and I realize that's probably very confusing for some people.
It's whatever, man.
so I recently saw in the theaters.
I have an answer.
What's the answer?
D.W. Griffith's 1915 Birth of a Nation was
Oh,
193
jeez.
minutes long and
1950.
extremely racist.
And it's
Yeah. So
extremely
that explains why I
racist.
didn't think about that at first.
Yeah.
So I recently saw in theaters Wicked, and I know it's a completely different movie.
Lame.
But the reason I'm mentioning it is because one of the criticisms going into it before people saw it, they were questioning the length, saying
It's a stage performance.
the actual musical,
I have things to say about this.
or excuse me, the actual play was only like I don't know, 2 hours or something. I don't know. Anyways, this is only part one, the movie,
Yeah.
and it's longer than longer playtime than the full.
Is the Wicked stage play really only like?
No,
2 hours
it's
long?
like it's probably like 2.5,
Yeah, it might be 2.5.
That's still pretty
but-
short for a stage
so-
performance. That's not bad.
which I think is I have so many opinions about Wicked because it genuinely could have made such a great movie, but they,
It didn't need to be a movie.
so-
though.
so what
That's what I was saying lame about. By the
Yeah.
way, Wicked is whatever. We're making sympathetic villains again. Whatever.
I mean, just for accessibility, like if you can't, like I think the movie musical is great if you can't, afford pricey ass theater tickets.
Fine. And so, but if you're going to do that, you make it accessible. You don't make it 3 hours long
Exactly.
as part one.
Well,
And they're not doing
That's
that.
why I said
So what?
lame.
No.
Yeah, so what I was
I'm
gonna say,
so
though,
mad.
That's
about
the
is-
Hobbit treatment.
I'm so mad about the Wicked movie.
A lot
Don't
of-
you worry.
A lot of the people were going into before seeing it saying that they were really concerned that it was gonna like be too much fluff and everything because of the runtime and it's being just part one. But a lot of people who saw it who had that concern then said, "Oh, actually, they did a good job of. It doesn't seem like it's too long."
Yeah.
So I think depending what you do with it, it's not necessarily the length; it's how you use that length. I don't know.
I mean, there definitely
That is definitely what she said.
there definitely are movies where with a long runtime where like you're so entertained the entire time that
Yeah.
like you don't
Right.
you hardly even notice it. But no,
While we're still on Wicked, they were talking about this on the radio this morning, and I have very strong feelings about if I go to the movie theater and I'm spending $20 to go see a movie, and you are
do not
singing
fucking
along.
sing.
I am absolutely going to be the guy going, "Shut the fuck up!"
No, I would do that 100%.
I don't care how. If everybody else in the theater is singing, I'm going to be screaming over the top of them the whole time because you can't
Yeah.
kick me out. If they're not getting kicked out for
Yeah.
singing, I'm not getting kicked out for swearing at them.
Luckily, no one did that in my showing. So,
But like, it's fine if you want to do a sing along thing. They should have sing along showings.
And they're going to.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah,
fucking save it.
yeah.
like some people are like, "Oh, well, don't go opening weekend then." No, I've never seen Wicked. What if I wanted to go see Wicked? Do you know how ruined the experience would have been for me?
Yeah.
I'm trying to listen to the people who got paid to sing it. Shut up.
Now, what would really concern me is if people started singing along to this.
Right? Well, or again, you go to see this movie and someone's seen it 4 times in the theaters and they're talking along to it
Oh,
even,
yeah.
and they're sitting next to me. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, do you mind if I listen to that guy say it?"
No, I'm so.
Oh, this next scene's so good.
You know
Watch.
They should make a musical of this.
Oh god, that's the other thing I hate is that they're musicifying. It's just no matter what you do, it sounds terrible. There's no Broadwayzing.
There's some good examples.
Broadway?
There's a lot more bad ones.
Right, because they just go, let's just write this as a musical bit and add some piano.
Yeah.
And suddenly this is a musical.
Like there are, like the band's visit. Mwah, beautiful, gorgeous film, incredible musical. Absolutely love it. Mean Girls, fuck off.
I got
It
one.
didn't need to be.
Big Dumb Monsters the musical.
Oh, that I'll
it.
participate in.
Yeah,
Let's
I'll
rock.
be there. I'm in.
I can't sing that well, and I'll do it anyway.
Oh, we got vetoed by a founding father.
God damn it.
Normally it's Nick that says no to us.
Yeah.
Chris
yeah.
kind of lets us get away with everything. As long as it's not copyright infringement, we're good.
Yeah, this is just, for me at least, this is the hollow sort of science fiction that
Yeah.
really kind of feels like it's only getting made because someone has some admittedly cool imagery that they want to put on a screen.
Yeah, this is definitely a 2.5 hour Gareth Edwards masturbatory experience.
Yes.
And this is another thing. This whole thing with Drew and his new simulant girlfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I need more information, or I don't need this at all.
Yeah.
This
Like-
is so dumb. I don't like the payoff where she dies later.
So,
Yeah, no.
So I think one of the problems though is
I thought they were going to tag along. That
If
was
you-
going to be fine. That would have been a story.
Yeah.
one of the complaints, a common complaint for movies, like you guys have mentioned, is runtime. And so, on the one hand, you don't want the movie to be too long, but on the other hand, there's the complaint of this has not been established. So, it's very difficult to establish everything that ought to be established and also have it a good runtime.
No, it's not.
Which is
you
what
don't
you gotta
add those
cut.
other elements.
You gotta cut some things.
Yeah, you cut out X storyline to embellish that storyline. That's how it works.
Well,
That's
what
how
if-
proper editing
And
happens.
genuinely, the thing is, I like a long movie. I really do. Like
If it's consistent.
if it's consistent, like
and
there's
pays
so
off on
many
the
examples
stories.
of long ass movies that
Yeah.
I absolutely love. The
That's what I'm just saying. If
the
it's done
lengthiest of which being, by the way, 7 hours.
right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And in my humble opinion, every minute of it is excellent. So as long as you earn it, and you don't even have to be perfect and insanely long for every person. You just a couple. You just
Yeah.
have to earn it for a couple, and I don't even think this does.
I don't think
this.
anyone
Does
sat down and
that.
said, "This is a 10 out of 10. This is my favorite movie ever." And
Well,
that's
I'm sure some did, but
no, nobody did.
Well,
No one
you-
sat
you
down.
know- you know when people rate movies, very often you're going to have a disproportionate number of people either rate it a 10 out of 10 or a 1 out of 10, just because people often don't have that nuance of being able to, like, give it.
You'd be surprised, actually. There's not. You don't see a lot of 10s or 1s in movie rating. You really
It
don't.
depend-
Like,
it
if you go to
depends who
IMDb
you're
and you
talking
actually look at the distribution,
Yeah.
it's just like an Amazon review.
I think
you know?
literally the lowest rated, one of the lowest rated films on it, like, I don't know if anything. Well, does anything have a 0 on IMDb? Something has to.
Hey,
I don't
Chris,
think. I don't.
does anything
I don't,
have
I
zero
don't think.
on
I don't-
IMDb?
The perfect rating,
So
you say,
so
"Oh,
you can go on IMDb and do lowest rating to highest. I don't think anything has 0, because if you vote at all,
Well, yeah, you have to give 1.
so it's gonna be 0 point something at the very least, or
So-
or 1 point something. I think it's 1 point something because it doesn't start with 0.
So just like I said, look at this. 6% voted that this was a 10.
that's what I mean.
1.6% voted. Yeah, but that's statistically negligible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Look at this. 30% said it was a 7, and it averaged out to 6.7 because guess what? 19.9 and 20.3 were for 8 and 6 respectively.
Yeah.
This is what happens. Yes, you are going to get some crazy people. 11,000 crazy people said that this was a really, really good movie. They didn't say it was their favorite movie ever, and they're going to watch it twice a year.
Yeah.
But then there's, of course, there's some people. Oh, this movie's rated lower than it should. I'm gonna rate it 10 to make it higher rating, or
Of course.
they'll do the opposite.
And look, if you split it by US, oh, look at that. It's just barely higher at 6.8. And again, statistically, it's a good even distribution.
You know, I would have thought that the anti-American thing in it would have made it lower.
Oh, no. Most of the times, people that are getting made fun of in these movies don't realize they're getting made fun of. So
Yeah.
there's a ton of people in America who watch this and like, they were right the whole time.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the people that watch The Boys, and then as the later seasons come on, they're like, they're making fun of conservatives. It's like, they always were,
Yeah.
you idiot. You didn't lose your show. It didn't become woke. Like, Marvel's woke now.
It's like,
It
no,
always
Marvel
was.
Marvel was started by a Jewish immigrant.
Yeah.
So, jot that down.
Yeah, like Superman punched Nazis, Captain America punched
Punch
Nazis. You are wrong. They've always hated you. Black Panther was originally named for the Black Panther movement. They changed it because it was a little bit too dicey. But that was always the case. When you hear the words Black Panther and you think of that Black Panther, that's what you were supposed to think of. I'm getting really amped up about like people like not getting that you're the butt of the joke. You were always the butt of the joke.
Yeah.
Nobody got woke. You're just an idiot and an asshole.
No, or when people like point to, like when Disney adult, the worst brand, the conservative Disney adults, the very worst brand of Disney adult, point to like, or like, oh, Disney was so like the diversity was so much better in Disney when they weren't even trying, and they'll point to like, Jasmine, Mulan, etc. It's like, no, you just hadn't been told to get mad at it yet.
Yeah.
So we were talking earlier about like how Joshua was intended to be this like messianic type of figure.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Do you feel like Alfie is also like a secondary
Yeah.
messianic figure?
Her name is Alpha Omega.
Yeah, that's what I mean. So like, it's kind of like they're playing it on both characters.
I think that the goal was for us to be confused about who was going to make the actual ultimate sacrifice.
Yeah.
And in the end, neither of them really did. So it was kind of stupid.
Yeah.
Like, to be a martyrdom and a messianic sacrifice, you have to choose
Yeah.
to die to save the other people.
Mm-hmm.
He does not do that. He just can't get on the escape pod, and so he just goes, well, I'll launch you. He could have just let her stay there and die too, but he launched her. That's not sacrificing himself.
Yeah.
He didn't
Yeah.
save her.
Well, but from the traditional perspective of Christianity, you know, Jesus decides to. But you could make the case that he also does not decide to die to save people.
He's here to take on our sins so that we can.
Yeah.
That's literally the whole message.
In the human point of view, you know,
He doesn't fight back in his capture. He doesn't try to escape. This guy does try to escape.
Yeah.
That's true.
Jesus forgives Pontius Pilate for whipping him. He forgives the guards for hanging him on the cross.
Yeah.
Well, there was the one scene where Alfie, when they the sticky bomb thing was on the one woman, the colonel, and he tries to save her.
Yeah. But that's not making a sacrifice of yourself.
Yeah.
No one ever does that. There's no payoff of the sacrificing yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, it definitely is.
They definitely
very-
want you to feel that way.
Yeah.
Should we throw some ratings down on this thing?
Yeah, honestly, for rewatchability, 4.
Really? I could rewatch this. I wouldn't like go out of my way to see it repeatedly.
4 out of 5, right?
No, we're doing a 10 scale here.
Yeah.
I would probably say for rewatchability, I might put it at like a 5.5. It's rewatchable. It's visually stunning, and for that reason, I might give it another go and see if I missed anything. I don't usually, but you know.
Here's a question before we continue the ratings. Would you say that by default most movies have an instant look, like you watch it the first time, not that you enjoy it, but the likelihood that you will enjoy it a second time for every movie is probably going to be lower?
Like it more the second time, or like it as much?
No, the idea that it loses interest to watch it a second time.
You lose novelty,
You lose novelty,
but you don't lose
you don't lose
interest. For a good
so-
movie, I don't
so-
lose interest. I'd watch
No.
Lord of the Rings extended editions.
But so, for example, there are some
Yeah.
good like there's so many good movies, but we only have so much time in our lives, so we have to kind of pick which movies we would want to rewatch again. So I feel like this movie, I personally, I enjoyed it a lot, but I don't necessarily think I would be watching this a lot. So I would probably rate it like a 6. A
6 is relatively high on our scale, just you know.
Rewatchability for and I know I'm biased higher, but I would probably do a 6 just because it's, you know, you watch it one time, and if you enjoy it, what's the point of watching it again?
Right, so that's why I say like a 5.5. I'll watch it again if somebody else is watching it. I'll be like, oh yeah, it was pretty decent. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
You know, I'll watch it again with them. But I'm not gonna like sit down 4 years from now and be like just cruising for something to watch and want to rewatch Great Creator.
Yeah.
You would watch a movie.
I'll pick a new movie that's got a 4-star rating, you know,
Yeah.
out of 10 on Prime or something, and say, let's see this trash bomb before I rewatch
Yeah,
this.
you might
Yeah.
watch.
But I will eventually, I'm sure, see this again.
You might watch this movie again with someone else who hasn't seen it.
Yes.
That would make more sense.
And
But
that's
to
where like
watch it
that
on your
5.5, yeah.
there's no need to watch it on your own.
I have no motivation to see this again, or to like brag about this so someone else watches it again. Now,
Yeah, no.
so what would you rate? Oh, you said 6.
6, but and this is kind of tied into it in terms of pretend this was a okay movie, better than you guys expected. Do you think it should have a sequel, or do you think
No, because of
No.
what they did with it.
Yeah.
They could have left this off in a way where there was room for a sequel. And one of the trivia things was about Gareth Edwards specifically saying, this movie's done. There is no sequel.
Yeah.
It's over. Which is dumb because it's not true.
I think they
They destroyed Nomad, but there's like still everything else
the
to
war.
go.
Yeah,
Crystal
they
Ball.
nuked like major metropolises.
Yeah. Like, major city centers were destroyed, and Alfie is still vulnerable and not fully grown.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
one bullet, and their whole movement is over.
They definitely
I don't understand.
they definitely have room to make a sequel. I don't know if they should,
But
but
Gareth Edwards said, no, this
Yeah.
is the story. It's over.
yeah.
Again, I agree with him. The story's over. There's nothing left.
Yeah.
Because you used it all poorly
Mm-hmm.
in this one. So if you were talking about like as a from a film standpoint, like what does it do for film? What does it do for sci-fi? What does it do for AI?
It's even lower.
I know. I'm just curious.
It's like a 2.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd give it that. Right down to using the word simulants for that. That's just Blade Runner.
So I don't know how to rate.
The robot design
Based
is
on this.
a little cool. With
The regular robots or the simulants with the...
I mean, either.
I like the regular robots better than I like the simulants personally.
So here's what I would say. This movie, I wouldn't call it propaganda, but it's like it has, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but it has like almost like an agenda of pro AI type of thing. So you could make the case that maybe the impact it might have would be to try to make people who don't like AI to be more okay with AI. I don't know.
I don't think they saw that point at all.
They don't sell a point, but maybe that's what they might hope from it. I don't know.
I definitely go with like a 2 though for like its impact, because there's nothing new here
Yeah,
at all.
nothing.
So much of it is just recycled storylines and recycled word and usage. The coolest thing in the movie is literally the Nomad, which is just the Death Star.
Yeah.
Or just any other battleship. What about our regular nuclear subs? Why do we need Nomad? That had to be so expensive to build.
Oh, they
And
said
we
something
just
about like $1
lost
trillion.
LA. Yeah, we just lost LA. By the way, California is the 6th largest economy in the world, and I would just gather that if LA was gone, that's gone.
We might
so
have
how did
some
the U.S. generate that
But
income?
It doesn't surprise me though that they would spend the money on that
I'm
because
not surprised they would spend it.
No,
That's what I mean.
not at
And
all.
why did they
They're-
need to? We have nuclear subs. There's 7 nuclear missile
Yeah.
subs around the world that the U.S. has, and they're all on secret missions. At any given point, we can launch 7 nukes
Yeah.
instantaneously, not
Yeah.
one at a time from a chain gun thing.
It's so unnecessary.
We can drop them from planes, targeted bunker buster bombs.
Yeah.
oh, here's the scene you guys were talking about earlier, where he does that little thing about saying that the explosion wasn't their fault or whatever. So
Do you know what will happen to the West if we win?
nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah.
And that's
Literally nothing.
nothing. We're just be done. We'll blow up your Nomad, and we'll put up, guards on the borders, and you just stay the hell away, and everyone lives happily.
Yeah.
But so I was talking about earlier about the concerns that people have with AI. Do you think? And I know you've mentioned before about whether it's valid to call certain things AI, but let's just go with AI. Do you feel like their concerns are valid in any way of the direction AI could go?
No. So the idea of us ever reaching the singularity, people always put out like a date when that'll happen. That's when AI reaches the level of intelligence and consciousness of humanity.
Like in the
That's
movie.
called the singularity. The idea that we'll ever reach that, I don't think it'll happen in our lifetimes,
God,
despite the
no.
fact that it's been predicted 2015, 2020, 2023. Like, these were different timelines from the past.
Yeah. Well, every time they update,
They realize, oh yeah, we didn't quite make that mark because we
Well-
spent time flying to space with rich
Yeah,
people instead.
the fundamental flaw
Or to
of
the bottom of the ocean.
of the idea is that
Just let one blue horizon
AI,
blow up.
the way it currently is, it's imitative. It's not. It'll never become sentient because that's not how it's. That's not what it even is.
If we don't assign it to it, it never will. Yeah.
So I think the only way it could become sentient is if somehow you make life and you integrate life into this model, and we haven't figured out how to do that yet. So I think
Either that or it makes a leap of its own,
Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
already covered in sci-fi everywhere.
Well, that
These
was-
aren't supposed to think on their own.
Well,
Short Circuit is literally that. You familiar with Short
Yeah.
Circuit?
No.
Oh, okay. It's literally a war robot who gets zapped by lightning and short circuits, and now he has full autonomous AI and goes hiding because he doesn't want to be a war robot.
Good for him.
it's like one of my arguments for like whether something is sentient or not is like, for example, for human or animal, like with this TV, whatever. You turn it on, you turn it off, you turn it on. When you turn it on, it goes to the same what it is when you turn it off. It doesn't change.
It only accepts input. It doesn't have its
Whereas
own output.
For life, if you turn it off, then it doesn't come back on. So I feel like an ability to die is a defining marker of something that's alive.
Oh, also,
I
I
don't
just want
know.
to say the standby thing. They trick. That's
How did that
so
work?
obvious.
How did that work?
The standby?
Yeah.
But there's like a switch thing.
No. I don't mean like physically. Oh, I'm gonna put you in standby mode instead of turning it off. I mean like how do they not scan it?
Oh.
Like, do they not scan for activity? And like, wouldn't they know that
Yeah.
standby is an option?
Yeah.
They've been fighting this war for 15 years. I feel like maybe they know how simulants work.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe.
One would hope.
Well, they don't speak their language at all.
Now,
Yeah.
was there another? There's another rating, or is those are the two ratings?
We do the 2 ratings, yeah, like
Okay.
what it provides to film in general. Like, we could subdivide it if we really wanted to. Like, we're like, no, this does nothing for movies in general, so that's 2. But for sci-fi specifically,
No,
you know,
I
we've
think-
done
I
that
think
a
it's
little
fair.
bit,
I
but-
think that's fair how you do
Little.
it. I just, it's hard for me to like. We talked about it, but I can't really give it a number for like impact. I would say it's a low impact.
yeah,
kind of
look,
thing.
we both want
Yeah.
2, I think, yeah. Because, like, sure, there's some things that maybe they can take from this, and someone will do better. But that's not really impactful.
Yeah.
More than inspirational because you suck.
Yeah.
Do you think this story would have worked better as a book? So it had been fleshed
Oh, a
out
series
more?
of books. Oh man,
Oh,
or even
God, yeah.
an anime series or something. This reeks of anime to me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And frankly, I would buy it more as anime.
Or a TV show, a live action TV show, but you
To
know,
flesh
with
it
the
out
big
more.
budget TV show. Yeah, because then they would have taken more time. Like a full season would have gone into the first half of the first season would have been Joshua with Maya. Then we'd
Okay,
learn
yeah.
he's actually
Yeah.
also a spy
Mm-hmm.
and everything. The second half of the first season would be Joshua getting back to normal life in LA, cleaning up LA and everything. Then you get at the end of season 1.
Season finale. We need you back.
Yes, exactly. Thank you. And then season 2 kicks
There you
off
go.
with, you know, that, like prepping for the mission and him asking them questions about Maya.
Season 2 finale. It's a child.
It's all there.
you got
You
it.
know, it's all
Hire
there.
us.
It's a much better show than it is a movie.
Mm-hmm.
I see 4 or 5 good seasons of this, and then a 6th season that you didn't need.
Yeah.
Like that's just how it. And then the interest is plummeted, and people are like,
It's
"Oh, you
over.
should have stopped," and it's over.
It's,
And it would end the same way,
yep.
because that's why people would be like, "This sucks." If you'd done better, we would have wanted to see Alfie more, but we don't. So
Yeah.
don't come back.
Yep.
Okay, that's interesting.
So, as far as casting goes, I can't think of I don't know most of these actors very well,
Yeah.
other than Hamilton Watanabe. He's the most recognizable person. And the Allison lady.
Alison Janney.
There you go. But see, I don't even know
Yeah.
her name.
Not her. Just in this movie. That's such an odd choice.
I could recast her to make the movie better, yeah, but she did fine.
Yeah. I
The character
guess.
sucked, I think. I don't think it was her fault. I think the character sucked.
Yeah. That too.
Here's what I think. You'd be Joshua. You'd be Alfie. That'd be a good cast.
All right.
Sure. Whatever. Fuck it.
No, I don't really know a lot of the actors. Like, I'm not familiar with any of these actors, so I don't know what would be better for casting choices. But
I mean, there's probably someone who could have done Joshua better. Like
Yeah.
as a more likable character. Because this guy was, when he was being a dick, I didn't care. When he was being good, I didn't care. I have no emotional attachment to him.
Yeah,
he doesn't
no.
convey anything I give a shit about.
Nope.
who's the actor? Is it the same person or is it a different actor in Tenet?
I didn't see Tenet.
I did not see Tenet either.
Womp
It has
womp.
some actor. They all look the same. I'm just joking.
Which person?
It's a black guy.
It's John David Washington. It's the same guy.
That is the same
Okay,
guy.
I thought it looked the same. I was gonna say if it's not the same, then maybe they could have had him.
But it is the same guy.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I'm just glad that they didn't do the dumb thing and like, oh my god, why am I blanking on his name?
Why are you blanking? I don't know.
Because you're done.
Finn.
Oh.
Okay.
I'm just
Oh,
really glad
John
they did.
Boyega.
Thank you. I'm just really glad they didn't do that. You
Yeah.
know, or like someone else who's like
well,
this.
so you're saying really glad. what makes you not like him? Or
I don't dislike him. I just don't
His
need to see
acting.
the same actors in every movie.
Oh,
Yeah.
and okay.
I like to see other people getting roles in different and bigger movies
Yeah,
and trying
yeah.
different things. I don't need to see, you know, gone are the days where you'd see 4 Harrison movies in the same year where he plays a cowboy, a space soldier, a president of the United States, and
Yeah.
you know, whatever, a doctor. We don't need that.
Oh, and by
We
the
need 4 different people playing different roles.
I know this movie was my choice, and you guys did not quite enjoy it, but Tenet is another one you could do.
Is it sci-fi?
Yeah.
I don't like that. Yeah,
Well, I mean,
it's very
like,
confident.
Google, show me this guy's balls.
It's sci-fi, yeah. what did you
I
say?
haven't said that in front of you before.
No, that's awesome.
Oh my god, it's the thing I found on TikTok. But
What is it?
So Google, show me this guy's balls, please. But now every time I need to look up a piece of information, that's what I say.
Oh, I love
it was
it.
a joke on TikTok.
That's funny. So like, but it has the same character, but one of the potential problems with it is also it's a long movie.
Well, we'll see.
But the only reason I mention it is because you said you haven't seen Tenet.
Yeah.
And again, that's another movie I enjoyed a lot, but I also enjoyed this movie, so I don't know if you would.
Again,
like
I
Tenet.
enjoyed this movie, but not enough to care.
Yeah.
Like, there's,
I'm looking up Tenet.
yeah.
It has time travel, but it's a unique concept of it.
Just because it's time travel doesn't mean it's sci-fi. There's
Well, that's why I said
spiritual time travel.
okay, it's not
there's
spiritual. It is scientific.
Action,
Scientific.
thriller, science fiction.
yeah,
So
but
it's more-
Xanadu said science fiction too because
Yeah,
people are
and
dumb.
that was a lie.
So that one I'll just tell you because I don't know if we're actually gonna do it, but the time travel concept is instead of jumping in time, it's like going backwards in time, or like it's a weird thing where it's like a
Okay,
like
maybe
like-
we'll check it out.
like you know how time goes forward.
Yeah,
It's time going backwards, but it's not jumping.
yeah. You have to like experience time
Yeah.
as it goes backwards.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's an interesting, different take on it, but
I love the U.S. Army on the side of this tank. By the way, this giant ass tank, and it's got the U.S. in capitals. Army is all lowercase. Did you notice that?
Yeah, it's a little odd.
That is really weird. Who chose that?
No idea.
First of all, it would be all. Oh, they're actually all lowercase. I just realized the U and the S are also lowercase. You can tell by the
Yeah.
kerning.
would you say
Odd.
there's anything about this movie like that your favorite part about it, or what you like most?
The technology,
The
like
technology.
Yeah, the
the
tech-
non-robot technology. Although I do like the robots that are not simulants.
The tech is cool.
So I think I had mentioned this earlier, but I think like most of this stuff like is not far fetched for science, like the science of it.
Oh, like the mech warriors. They don't. That's another thing that doesn't pay off. They show you like the mech suits they're going to use,
Yeah.
and they never use those.
What are the mech suits?
Earlier in the movie, like when they're first going to launch down, they're showing the guy like testing it out and saying, "Oh yeah, I'm going to get some with this or something."
Oh,
And
interesting.
he's like in a suit, which by the way, aliens.
Yeah.
They had a lot of interesting.
The second
tech
best
ideas.
alien movie.
That's Alien.
Nope, definitely aliens.
It's the next whatever happens. Everyone versus Chris.
Yeah, right. We've talked about this before. We should just do movies of a series that are divisively the best or not the best.
Okay.
You know, like, so like Aliens is a great one because it's divisively this is the best for these reasons, and no, it's not for these reasons. Or like Predator 2.
I haven't seen the second Predator yet.
You don't need to.
So one of the tech things in this that I found funny was
I feel him groaning over there. I don't hear it. I feel it.
there was like it showed like targets on the simulants or the robots,
Yeah.
and it
That's
looked,
pretty cool.
It looked very much like a video game type of thing, but like it was like real technology. But I kind of like that idea. Oh yeah, this part right here.
Yeah.
Just talking about it.
Oh, and this humanity here. He's like, I could go hide in there and maybe survive. But they'll die.
Yeah.
yeah.
So what does he do? He runs away. That's the most
Yeah.
sacrificial thing we see. Is the robots do
Yep.
that a couple of times.
yeah.
Yep.
But
Sacrificial
interesting.
things.
I actually didn't catch that.
He looks
that
in
he's
and then
running
pauses.
away.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
And he goes, nope, and turns around.
Mhm.
The other the tech that I found
Oh god.
fascinating What, these things?
Yeah, I just wish one of them would just go, fuck this, and blow up right there.
So
Yeah.
actually, I thought it would have been a better payoff if like Alfie made it run back.
Alfie's not vindictive, though.
I know that would have been.
That
cool,
would
but-
not have been cool. That would have been, Alfie's kind of a dick.
Yeah.
Well, I would have.
She's still letting the robot kill itself.
Yeah,
That's bad.
true.
Yeah.
That's true. There's one tech where he's looking at his memories. I don't know how they do that. Joshua.
The photo thing?
Yeah, like
Oh, I could do that with this right now. Just watch,
no, but like it seemed like they were. Maybe I was reading into it, but it seemed like it was implied that this was like a special way of him watching one of his memories. Like,
No, he's just
Instead
watching
of a
videos of his
video.
wife.
oh, maybe it was
It's
just
the
a video.
same thing every time.
I thought it was like
Every time he pulls that little thing out,
I thought it
it's
was
the same little thing of Maya.
like a memory or something that he somehow
Even
got.
if it was, it's just the pensive.
Yeah.
Pensive from Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Again, nothing new or special. And
Yeah.
also, it's every sci-fi movie. They have the video things where they watch memories and stuff.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
The holodeck.
But that
Yeah, it's Johnny Mnemonic,
Yeah.
downloading
potentially they're
thoughts.
working like they're obviously we're far away from that type of thing, but they're kind of in the beginning stages of some of that actually being possible. Like I saw something, I don't know when it was, like maybe a year ago, where they were actually able to see on a computer screen a faint image of what the person was seeing. Like the person was looking at something, and then they were able to see a faint image of it using like a scan of their brain or something. It was, I don't
Interesting.
know. But yeah, so maybe one day we'll be able to watch our memories.
I mean, yeah, it's the downloading them part that,
Yeah.
is a problem. Because doing that in a non-destructive way,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
we just don't have that. You could get a microchip put in your head by Elon Musk if you're stupid.
Yeah, if
Oh,
you
I'll
are-
never do that. I'll never.
If
do
you
that.
are even stupider than Elon Musk.
Phew, I don't know. That's a tall order.
the
Um,
if you take away the Elon Musk aspect of it, and if it was just some other scientist,
I still
would
would
not
not do it.
No.
No.
I don't care who the hell it is.
Yeah.
That is not one of the ones I'll sign up for day one.
No.
No,
thank you.
there are tech that I would be like, oh yeah, I want to be a part of this.
Oh, that reminds me of the thing. With Joshua having like the robotic arm, I feel like that's intentional to kind of like make you think, oh, human, robot.
Yeah,
like-
he's hybrid, which
Yeah.
again doesn't pay off.
Yeah.
We only learned that he lost his arm and his leg in LA when the bomb went off, and also his parents died. That's it. It
Yeah.
doesn't
Yeah.
It doesn't
get
go
matter. In
anywhere.
fact, they covered up 90% of the movie. It is completely covered, so you don't notice
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
because you don't need it.
Yeah.
So
you
then,
really-
why does it exist at all?
No, you really don't.
Anyway,
At the risk of beating this to death, how goes it? How's life?
it goes. I'm off work for the next. Oof. I don't go back till Monday,
Love that for you.
but I am on call,
Mm.
so it's like a. Bleh. I'm hosting Thanksgiving, so I got a lot of shit to do. I made 2 pies today.
Nice. What kind?
One is a chocolate silk pie,
Yummy.
which is completely vegan and gluten free. It's made with silk tofu and chocolate and a little bit of rice flour to just like help it, and then it bakes till a lot of the moisture comes out. And I made a coconut cream pie, similar process except for coconut cream and flaked coconut
All right.
baked, and they came out good.
And I'll be eating his food.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
I'm making 2 more pies tomorrow: a pumpkin pie, traditional, and a pecan pie, where I have soaked pecans in bourbon.
I'm a Toll House pie gal,
No, all right.
but those all do sound delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. So, it goes. It goes. I have a cool new hat.
Yeah, that you got from Brooks.
Dr. Brooks. Dr. Brooks gave me a cool new hat, and I thought we had another thing to bond over, but she has in fact not seen Stargate.
She has not.
And I'm sure you haven't seen 1994's Stargate,
No, I have not.
nor have you seen the show that it spawned. Universe that it spawned. So I'm going to force us at some point to do Stargate and also make Dr. Brooks watch one of the times she can come on site for a show.
I love it. That'll be
So
fun.
I have one final question. So of all the shows or movies you've done for this program, how does this compare to the other ones you've done?
It's pretty low.
Low, but not the lowest.
Yeah, I mean, Xanadu is probably the lowest, right? And while we'll differ on our ratings for like Solaris, it's nowhere near as like it's definitely more impactful than this. So like a combined scoring brings it above it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't visually entertained by Solaris very much, but
It did a lot.
it did a lot.
Okay.
You know, just because it was one of the early ones to do some of the things it did. So its combined score would bring it above this for sure. I'm trying to think. Space Truckers probably would be below this.
Space.
I enjoy Space Truckers,
I had
but
more
it is
fun with Space
such a piece of
Truckers.
garbage. That's true though, but it was fun garbage.
Fun. Stuart Gordon, my beloved.
Yeah,
Is it intended to be fun garbage or
it's
no?
it's definitely known schlock. They knew what they were doing. They're like, this is, I don't know. Let's just throw some shit together and see what
I
happens.
mean, again, it's Stuart Gordon. The man knows his schlock.
Yeah, he knows how to put out a just like junk movie with no concept. He's just sitting there snorting lines of cocaine. Like, what about truckers in space? Space truckers.
Hell
Okay,
yeah,
but what's the
brother.
movie about?
I don't know.
That's probably how,
Cyborg destructive things.
it's probably
What?
how most movies get made, I think.
Oh, cocaine,
Through a
yes.
similar process.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's
Okay,
a lot of
here's-
cocaine.
Here's one of my
dreams.
hot takes. Put the cocaine
Back in
in
Hollywood.
movies.
Yes. That is what we are disturbingly lacking is cocaine in the movie making
What about
process.
in Disney movies?
Put it back.
I feel like Disney might still have all the cocaine, but not the good kind like you want.
Yeah, no, not the good kind. Not the stuff from Colombia.
Yeah. This is some American lab-grown shit they're using.
Yeah, fuck that.
Blah. Yes, that's what I've got going on for the next several days. But put that on the docket for down the road. We'll do Stargate with Brooks.
Hell yes.
'cause it's always good to have her on.
Yes.
We are doing From Beyond next, I promise. That is our next episode, which is December 3rd?
More Stuart Gordon.
No, not December
December
3rd.
3rd is next week.
10th. December 10th.
December 10th.
I'll
From
have
Beyond.
something to show
nice
off on December
nice
10th.
try, Arthur. You were trying to get another show next week.
Okay.
Nice try.
I mean, I think that I would not survive trying to do this every week. Not for my own volition. Others would be disappointed in that decision. Yeah, so we'll do From Beyond December 10th. And I will have something to show off then. But we're going to leave that as a surprise.
Oh,
Uh-oh.
exciting.
That's not good.
It's a boner, yes. Everyone tune in December 10th and you'll get to see my boner. It'll be pixelated so we don't get canceled on Twitch or YouTube.
Well, it's
Pixelated.
not that.
Okay.
It's not that big, so you might not have to pixel anything.
Womp, womp, womp.
Savage.
Finish him. Anyway, fatality. Because finish him sounded a little bit like something else. No thanks.
Keep it going.
Yeah, so
Keep
what do you got
going.
going on?
Well, if you can talk me through getting my computer back online, fighting with friends
I did
will...
everything. No, I got you there. You're at the finish line, homie.
I don't know what the
Push
fuck-
buttons.
I don't know. Okay.
No, I'll like video chat you and you can show me screens because I just don't feel like driving over again.
That's completely fine. But if I can get my computer up and running by tomorrow, fighting with friends will be back.
Yeah, I have personally sunk $250 and probably a good 40 hours of my time into getting that thing working for you. So I will do it from video call.
Thank you, love you, you're the best. But other than that, yeah, fighting with friends coming back, and by extension, our stream coming back. We're gonna be talking about all the episodes of Shadows that we missed us talking about,
Nice.
and yeah, Thanksgiving with my family on yeah, so we're gonna be moving the stream because Thanksgiving is on Thursday. It should wind up being Friday.
Okay.
But yeah, Thanksgiving, gonna go see my fam. Other than that, I'm just chilling.
Nice. And then we don't have anything other than the Wednesday and Friday, consequently, Fighting with Friends shows. Until next Monday? We don't have any specials going on or anything?
Nope.
Okay. All right. So then the network will be back Wednesday for Fighting with Friends, Friday for Fighting with
Hell
Friends.
yes.
will be on your channel, and then Monday for Big Dumb Monsters. When did we already announce the movie for
I
that?
don't think we picked a movie. No,
Yeah.
wait, we did Men in Black.
Oh, that's right, Men in Black.
Ooh,
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, that's right. They're doing Men in Black on Monday, so that'll be kind of interesting to see.
I love it.
What about you? You got anything you want to promote or going on?
Nothing really. Just life.
This life?
Yeah.
Nice.
All right.
Maybe if you want me to come back, we'll do Tenet or some other movie. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, maybe.
Hell
maybe.
yeah.
Could be fun. Could be fun. All right.
We want to leave you with our words of wisdom.
Don't shake alien eggs. Leave them alone.
Never trust the android.